Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. What is the purpose of life? God is all bliss, all happiness, and a happy personality can never create miseries. A miserable person cannot distribute happiness. So if this God has created this world, and if He is all bliss, the question is, where from the blisters have come? Instead of the bliss, we have blisters. Where from they have come? So it cannot be in the God's creation. And why this happens? Because we have not understood the purpose of life. See, for example, the purpose of eyes is what? To see. The purpose of ears is to hear. The purpose of the mind is to think. Now, if this is true, are we seeing what is, or are we seeing what we want to see? Are we hearing what is said, or are we hearing what we want to hear? See? Therefore, when we see the God's creation, there is only one expression, and that expression is that of joy and happiness. So happiness is the only purpose that must be fulfilled in our life. And for that, we have to find out what is happiness. See, what we know is an illusion of happiness. See, I want to have a particular dish to eat. If I get that dish, I am very happy. If I don't get it, I am miserable. This fellow is doing meditation. In meditation, people start with the exclamation, tighten it. That's it. Better. Thank you. The people start meditation as a sign of exclamation. And they sit for a long period for 3 seconds. And then they become a question mark. This is how this mic became a question mark, See. So, if we have to fulfill the purpose of our life, it could be only one thing. We must become the distributor of happiness. Nothing else. It is something like, if eyes are meant for seeing, and if we are not able to see by our eyes, because they are blind, then the purpose of the eyes is defeated. If the purpose of the ears is to hear, if we are not able to hear, then the purpose of the ears to hear is defeated. In the same manner, if God created this world out of happiness, and if happiness is not manifested through us, then the purpose of our life is defeated. See, friends. Now, what is the reason that this does not happen? It is because of a very simple thing. Mind has 2 aspects. One is perception. Like you see a beautiful flower. Perceive it, oh, it's beautiful, and go ahead. No problem is created. But when we look at that beautiful flower, and if I am going to meet my beloved, I will go and pluck that innocent flower and take. Darling, this fool is for you, the fool. You know, in Hindi, the fool means a flower. See? So the destruction happened not by perception. Destruction happened after perception was followed by projection. See? There is one very beautiful story which comes in the commentary of Bhagwan Shankaracharya on some Vedantic text. I don't know if I told you that story. Somewhere on the banks of Ganges there was an ashram, and one brahmachari who used to study there during the hot summer days, he used to go to the Ganges bank. There was a tree, he will climb on the tree, and there was a branch just coming on the Ganges, so cool Ganges flowing below. He will go and sit there and then start his studies in the afternoon, after lunch. So, Rama Ramo Ramaha Ramam Ramo Ramana Ramena Ramayam Ramai started. Or he Om Vedamanucharyon Devasya Manushasti Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Swadhyaya Anma Pramadaha. He will start his studies. And in that heat and sufficient food in the stomach, nobody to complain or ask anything, slowly the lullaby effect comes. And in that he is dreaming. What he was dreaming? One day when he was sitting there, he saw a young girl with her mother came to the Ganges for washing clothes, taking bath and filling the pot and going back home. So this brahmachari looking from a distance, nobody knows that he is looking at them like a vigilance camera. And then he started thinking, between these two, this younger is okay for me. Elder is like my mother. And I think I should get married to her. And when I get married to her, within a year I must have a baby. I don't believe in postponement. And when the baby will be born, we will be sleeping together and in between there will be baby. This side me, this side her. And then my wife will push me. Don't crush the baby, you motu, go away. And she will push me and I will fall from the bed and he falls in the river. Now who is responsible? God? See friends, why the purpose of our life to be happy is not fulfilled is only because of our mistake. And what is the basic mistake? Basic mistake is the habit of getting identified. We get identified with the things very quickly. See? You know, when we come to any country, let us take USA, when you go through the immigration, you have to fill in a big form. Are you a member of a terrorist organization? Yes, no. Who is going to write yes? But the form is there. Are there some criminal proceedings pending against you? Yes, no. And you keep on tick mark, no, come out. No problem. In the same manner, when we were entering this world, Anityam Asukham Lokam Imam Prapya, Bhagavad Gita tells, you are entering an abode of miserable existence. And immigration form is given to you. You are entering an abode of miseries and miserable existence. Question, do you want to be miserable? Option, yes, no. Those who are tick mark yes, they are perpetually miserable. Choice is ours. If the miseries come, to be miserable or not to be miserable is a freedom given to us by the Lord. If you see the lives of all the great masters, they had miseries in their life. There is none in this world who did not have any misery in life. But the question is, they have exercised their freedom, whether to be miserable or not to be miserable. Therefore, when we are perceiving the world through our mind, we have to be extremely alert that after the perception has happened, are we projecting? And the moment you start projecting, you are out of the God's creation and you enter your own creation. See? And when we enter our own creation, then alone we are all the time miserable. Now see, where is our creation? Yesterday I mentioned this point. When we are not identified with the body, we are in God's creation. Life is breathing. There is no sense of I. There is no sense of otherness. There are no desires. There is no enemy. There is no fear. The net result is we are all experiencing bliss and happiness. We are in God's creation. Then what happens? We become identified with the body. And when we become identified with the body, thereafter the first principle, I am. Second principle, what is the time? Third principle, where I am. Fourth principle, what I have to do. And thereafter the samsara begins. See? So what do you mean? Should we keep sleeping 24 hours? Yes. As we live in the deep sleep, extend that lifestyle in your waking experience. And what will be that lifestyle? That lifestyle will be, in deep sleep we were Mr. Nobody. In the waking, remain as nobody. When we remain as nobody, we don't have to prove anything to anybody. I'll give an example. Once I came from Bombay to Heathrow, London, 9 hours flight. And the flight landed at about 11:30 or 12 o'clock. We had to drive for 3 hours. And in a church, my lectures were fixed. So by 5 o'clock, we were supposed to be in the church to give the lectures. Everything was planned. And one British lady, she came to pick me up. She's also a Swamini kind of thing. And she came and she was driving me. And I said, Mama, I feel we are going the wrong way. Swamiji, I am driving for last 35 years. I said, that doesn't disqualify you from making mistakes. No, I know this. I said, okay, good, go ahead. After going for some distance, then she started rethinking. Probably what you said is right. We are going the wrong way. I said, then follow Indian technology. Reverse gear, go back 20 kilometers. No, Swami, we can't do it here. Then take a U-turn, 40 miles, no U-turn. I said, there is no chance now, keep on driving. And thus, instead of reaching before 5, we reach at 6 o'clock. And I expected nobody will be there, I can go and sleep. But people were sitting there. So immediately I started my blub session for 1.5 hours. And after that we had a nice dinner. And I was watching movie on the TV, a very beautiful movie on the Tibet. Very extraordinary movie. And when this was going on, this lady was watching me. She said, Swamiji, I want to ask you a question. I said, Mama, not now. Now I am enjoying the movie. Don't spoil my movie. Ask tomorrow. So next day she asked me this question. Swamiji, I want to be like you. I said, why? So you came such a long distance. We had a mess in traveling. But you gave the lecture. you had dinner, now you are watching movie, are you not tired? I said, no, I am not tired. I want to be like you. I said, you cannot be like me. Why? You require a beard. Wisdom is directly proportionate to the length of the beard. Longer the beard, more is the wisdom. Shorter the beard, lesser is the wisdom. No beard. So you cannot be wise. You can be otherwise. Then she says, Swamiji, please don't make fun of me. Please tell me. Here I am going wrong. I said, Mama, I'll tell you, but my conditions are no discussion, no argument. Then I'll talk. Otherwise I don't talk. Okay. I said, your whole life is a struggle to prove something to somebody. Alas, you don't know what you want to prove and to whom and for what purpose and who wants that. Our whole life is a struggle. I want to prove to the world I am a good person. I want to prove to the world I am a rich person. I want to prove to the world I am a studious person. Who wants? And in that struggle, we forget our pure self, which is innocent. See? You must have experienced this thing. When you have got the mobile phones, suppose Android or Apple or whatever you have, and then there are many applications free download. So we keep on free download, whether useful or not. Because it is free, keep on downloading. And thereafter, the phone hangs up. It doesn't work. And then, oh, I don't know what to do. See, it was a new phone. Why it is not functioning? These people are bad. One person came to me in Bombay. I said, look here, don't complain. There is an option. Go to the menu. Now go to settings. Yes. Scroll down. There is an option. Revert back to factory settings. I said, you click that. You will get a window there. All your data will be erased. Say yes. And then your phone will revert back to factory settings. No unwanted downloads. In our life, we have got so many unwanted downloads that our life is hanging. Go back to your factory settings. As we were born, all cheer, all happiness. See, friends, because there is a free download, keep on downloading. Find out, is it necessary? See? There was, this happened in Gujarat. One man was standing on the road, and houses are not like here, one there. Their houses are close together because people are very cozy. Not, separated from each other. So everybody knows what is going on in everybody's house. So this man was standing on the road, and from inside the wife was fighting and throwing the utensils at him to hit him. So he will catch it and put it down. Once, twice, thrice things came. So a passerby said, hey, why don't you give her back? Why you are receiving only? He said, incoming free. Outgoing, you have to pay. See, friends, let us revert back to our original settings. And what is original setting? Being innocent. We have lost our innocence. See? And when we have lost our innocence, we cannot enjoy life. See? A person who can be happy over silly things, he alone is nearest to the God. For us, what is there to laugh? There is everything to be serious about. And this is how spirituality has become. See, for them spirituality means what? We become so serious as if we have consumed handful of caterpillars. And what is happening? Spirituality. See friends, the only purpose of our life is to express happiness, not search happiness. All those who are searching happiness, they have become most miserable. See, as much an average person is happy in this world, so much the so-called spiritual people are not happy. They are lost only in the do's and don'ts. See, I go to so many yoga institutions and I hardly do any yoga. Mine one is only contemplation and discovery of the truth, nothing else. So when I went in one place, all of them were sitting as if it is a condolence meeting. And when you have to talk in a condolence meeting, you cannot be cheerful and happy. So when my lecture was over, because it must match with the audience, when my lecture was over, one person came, Swamiji, I heard you in Bombay. I heard you in Ahmedabad. How hilarious the lectures are. Why here your lecture is so serious? I said, as is the patient, so is the medicine. I said, here all the people have taken a vow, we will not laugh. See, it is the freedom only for the human beings that they can laugh. Have you ever seen a buffalo going, she buffalo, and from the other side, a buffalo goes? Will they look at each other and give a smile? Hi, darling. No. Animals cannot smile. Human beings alone can smile. So if God has created us as human beings, the purpose is to express happiness. And happiness is expressed on the face as a smile on the face. See, friends. So where we are lost, there is a very important topic in Vedanta Shastra, and that topic is called as Purushartha. Many a times we have a wrong notion that whatever comes in our life is because of our fate, Daiva, Prarabdha. Please remember, the result of our bad and good actions in the last life is only misery and joy. There is no third karma phala. If we have done good deeds in the past, we will get happiness. If we have done bad deeds, we will be miserable. Two things, no other thing. So, joys and miseries, they come as a result of karma phala, the result of our karma. The success in the world is not as a result of karma phala. That is your purushartha, how you deal with a given situation. In Ramcharitmanas, Lakshmana says, Daiva Daiva Alasi Pukara. Those who are talking the language of fate, this is my fate, this is my prarabdha, they are laziest of all the people. Put efforts, you will succeed. Therefore, this purushartha has to be very distinctly analyzed in our life. We all follow purushartha. And there are 4 aspects in this purushartha. Purushartha means that which is sought after by the people. Purushaihi arthate iti purushartha. The one which is sought after by the people. What we are seeking in life? First, we are all seeking security. That is called as artha purushartha. We want money for what? So that I am secured. See, when I was coming from North Carolina, so my friend told me, Swamiji, do you have money in your pocket? I said, no. I got ticket, I don't need. No, 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 you keep some money, you may require, suppose you want to drink glass of water or something like that, No, no, you must keep some money. So every time we are concerned about the security, whether I'll be secured or not. And the security definition differs from person to person. One person feels secured by staying in a rented small flat. He is happy. The other person, no, rented flat, we must have our own apartment. Then we must not have apartment, we must have our own bungalow. Then not only in one place, when I go to Shimla, I should have there also. When I go to Goa, I should have there also. When I go to Caribbean island, I should have there also. Security. And there is no end to that. So our whole life is spent only earning. Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes, Artham anartham bhavaya nityam nasti tataha sukhaleshas satyam putradapi dhana bhajam bhiti sarvatraisha vihitariti bhaja govindam bhaja govindam. See, how much more we want to collect. See, and what we will do that with that. We may have a big, what you call, royal bed, 10 by 10. More than the bed, what is important is sleep. Are you able to sleep? See, we may have a wonderful, beautiful, big car, but is there some beloved to sit with you? Or a doggy? See, those who don't love human beings, they love dogs. Because they want one-sided love. See? The dog philosophy is what? The pet philosophy, not dog philosophy. I want to love someone according to my whims and fancy. So I keep a dog. And the dog I have trained. The moment I come from work, he will climb on me and do the whitewashing. And his need for the salt is fulfilled. And my face is cleaned. Every day. One day I came. In the world I was total failure. Everything went wrong. I was frustrated, disgusted. Now the doggy didn't know. So I opened the door, got inside, and as usual by default the doggy started climbing on me. And I became, you rascal, get out. I kicked him. Immediately the doggy put the antenna below, went below the sofa set and sat. Bhasrika. Yoga for the dog is called a doga. So he was doing Bhasrika. And then I opened the bottle and emptied it and filled in the drum. And then I became liquid spiritualist, Shambhavi Mudra. And then I say, Tommy, where are you, darling? Tommy was waiting. Immediately he comes, start, tack. Try to do this thing with human beings. One day you behave wrongly with your wife or with your children. Next day you try to say, darling, honey. I know, darling, honey. Selfish man. Dog will not say like that. Therefore, these pet lovers, they want one-sided, convenient love. See, friends. Therefore, this Artha Purushartha, we are all the time concerned about our security. And there is no end to that definition of security. How much we want. See, there is no end to it. After this security, money, earth is earned, then the second step comes, the Kama Purushartha. We want to indulge, enjoy. See, I want to have so many different dishes to take food. One dish is not enough. I want to have so many wardrobes full. Whenever I go before the wardrobe, I always have a problem. What should I put on? What should I put on? What should I put on? Because if, like us, only one dress, whether you are going to bathroom, the same thing. You go to the temple, the same thing. Go to the marriage, the same dress. Go to the funeral, the same dress. You don't have to think about the clothes anymore. That much burden is reduced. See? But we go and stand before our wardrobe, and now I have to go for the Indian marriage. Should I put on this sari? No, last year I have put on. People will think I have got only one sari. No, let me see this one. This sari is okay, but I don't have the matching sandals for that, I told my husband, he doesn't understand. Anyway, let me try this sari. More the choice you give to yourself, more miserable you are. Give minimum choice. You will be happiest in life. See? And this indulgence in terms of food, in terms of clothing, in terms of comforts, there is no end to it. See? And in this Kama Purushartha, to fulfill our desires, to fulfill our hunger for earning wealth, there is no limit. Any amount of money we earn, we can never feel that we have earned sufficiently, now enough. I have one girl in Bombay who is working, comes from a very ordinary family. And I am so touched by her. I was, the trust people were paying her something like, 2,000 or 3,000 rupees per month. And I didn't know what is her salary, etc. So one day, one of my friends said, Swami, should we increase her salary? I said, yes, increase whatever you want, I have no problem. So they told her that, we have decided to pay you 1,000 rupees more. She came to me and started crying. I said, why Mama you are crying? Swami, I am not going to leave you and go. I will be with you throughout my life. I don't want anything. I said, why did you refuse that additional money? What will I do? This 3,000 is more than enough for me. I don't want. Let it be for the trust. You are doing some good work. Let it be there. I don't want. And she refused to take. Crying, touching feet, please don't give me. Now tell me, she is rich or we are rich? See, Patanjali Yoga Darshan says, Santoshat Anuttama Sukhalabha. Contentment is the highest wealth in life. See? Unless we discover contentment, we can never discover happiness in life. And that girl, any time you talk to her, any time, such a sweet disposition. She will talk so cool and without any agitations. And she has got many physical problems. She had, to be operated, and she had this problem. No complaints. Not one day. She is with me for the last 15 years. Not one day she has complained about anything. See? This is the beauty of our life. So how long are we going to spend our whole life only in earning money and indulgence? And when we thus go beyond limits, one day by the divine grace, a thought enters in our mind. I have been doing this. How long will it go? For earning more money, I have cheated him. I have destroyed him. For indulgence, I have tortured so many people. Now one day, suddenly it clicks. And then the fear comes. Oh God, I have not lived properly. Now what should I do? Then we start going to the temple. Hanumanji, please protect me. If you go to Bhagavan Ram. Then we go to the Panditji. Panditji, please do Mrutyunjay Mahamantra Japa for my welfare. And then Panditji says, okay, give the Dakshina. You people are very greedy. Look at me, I am not greedy. I have killed the people and earned money. See? Okay, take ₹100 rupiah. Take $1.25 and do Mahamantra Mrityunjay. And I turn. Next moment the Pandit said, "Sir, your mantra is done." 1 crore time you did so fast. In $1, this is the quality you can get. It is a China product. This is how our going to the temples and religion begins. It is not out of love for the God. It is out of the fear. Going to the God out of fear is the first step that we take in our life. Artho. So we are all, "Hey Krishna, you know everything. I know I have done something wrong, but you can always forgive, you know. I have not come to you for seeking justice. I have come to you for seeking favor. As per justice, I will go to hell, but by your favor, I cannot. Please." Our devotion begins. Artho. And then, to that extent, we start slowly withdrawing from the world. And the withdrawal is, be attentive. Then it starts giving us glimpses of the real joy. Take example. There was a friend of mine. One day he came, he said, "Swamiji, I want to give you the best news of my life." I said, "What is the best news?" "Do you know? I stopped smoking." I said, "What is great about it?" He said, "Swamiji, you don't know how much I used to smoke, but now I have stopped smoking." So what happened? What is great about it? "Swamiji, you will never understand because you have never smoked." Be attentive. The joy that he was getting by smoking and the joy that he discovered by giving up smoking, it is not even comparable. The real joy is not in indulgence. See, there was a child, a boy, maybe about 7-8 years of age. This happened in Pune. And this boy, he chanted 15th chapter of Gita so perfectly well. Not a single mistake. He sat along with all these children and without opening his eyes or making any face, with confidence and cool, complete chapter of 15th chapter of Gita, he chanted. And when everything was done, so I called him and said, "Hey, come here. You have done a really lovely, lovely job. You deserve some gift." So I had one chocolate, nice big bar, so I gave, "This is for you." He saw, very happy. "Oh, thank you, Swamiji." I said, "Eat?" "No, I will not eat." Keep it in pocket. And if you don't eat, return it back. He said, "No, I will not return also." "Why don't you eat?" He said, "I will give it to my sister." I said, "Why sister? I gave it to you. You eat." No, I will give it to my sister." I said, "But what? Why you are giving to sister? You eat." Now that boy got confused. He looked here and there. He asked me, "Swamiji, do you have a sister?" I said, "No." "You will never understand." See how beautiful it is. See? What he meant, that when he will give it to his sister and his sister will eat and she will be happy, in her happiness, his happiness is more. See, friends, it is here we change the direction of our life. When we seek happiness by indulgence, we are slaves. And when we discover happiness In renunciation, it is the purpose of our life is fulfilled. See, friends, he who can be happy in the happiness of others, nobody in the world can make him miserable. One day, one person asked me this question. Swamiji, I am always seeing you for last so many years. I want to know the secret. What is the secret of your happiness? You are always happy and cheerful. What is the secret? I said the secret is I am happy in the happiness of others. How it is possible? I said, okay, I'll give you example. I go and attend the marriages of the people. That is the only day they are happy. And I am with them. So, in their happiness I am happy. And after that is over, the rest of the things are theirs. Then I go for the second marriage. The third marriage. Thus, if you discover this principle, be happy in the happiness of others. Normally what happens? We are jealous, not happy. See, friends. Therefore, when we come to discover this principle, that the real joy is neither accumulation, possessions, relations, indulgence, but the real joy is in renunciation. In Kaivalya Upanishad, a mantra comes. This mantra is chanted when you receive the Swami in a traditional manner. Om na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naiki amritatvamānashuhu. Na karmana na prajaya na dhanena. The immortality, the bliss is not attained by karma, by the progeny, or by the wealth. Then, tyage naike amritatvamānashuhu. Only by renunciation alone, the immortality is attained. See? And you know, one of the reasons why I enjoy my life, because we go and see the world, they will be receiving their Swamiji with this mantra. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyage naiki amritatvamānashu. And the Swami asks, how much is the dakshina? Tyage naiki amritatvamānashu. Ram, Ram, Ram. See, friends. Therefore, then we enter the third step, third Purushartha, called as the Dharma Purushartha. Dharma Purushartha is the one wherein we redefine our individuality as to who am I at a given period of time. I am husband, wife, brother, sister, mother, father, in-law, outlaw, officer, subordinate, doctor, patient, whatever I am. Now, according to that individuality, am I fulfilling my duties or not? So when we enter the path of dharma, we define our individuality clearly, and thereafter we have no identity crisis. All the problems in life happen because of the identity crisis. Who doesn't know what is the duty of a teacher? Teacher knows. But then why he doesn't follow that? Because for a moment he has forgotten. Which doctor doesn't know what is the duty towards the patient, but he forgets for a moment, and then the wrong things happen. I'll tell you about one doctor in Bombay. It happened. Not a good thing, but it happened. He was a known heart specialist, very much big name in Bombay. One of my friend, his heart was to be operated, so he told me, Swamiji, my operation is such and such time. I said, okay, I'll come to the hospital before you go into the operation theatre. So I went there. And then I was told, he is the doctor. Now you can't understand who is doctor because everybody is, that funny kind of dress, you don't know who is who. So he was in the green attire, and I was told, he is the doctor who is going to operate. So I said, Dr. Saab, salutations to you, and may God bless you that you will be successful in this and all your further operations. You know what he told me? I don't need your blessings, I need money.
Oh my God.
The medicines, the bricks for the hospital do not come by blessing. It comes through money. I said that I don't have, and I have never given money to anybody. I only receive money. If you have to give me. And then everything was over. My friend's operation was done perfectly well. Next week, his operation was done on Friday or Saturday. Monday, this doctor, he had a terrible heart attack. And in Hinduja hospital, he was operated. Heart operation successful. Kidney failed and collapsed on the spot. Nothing could be done. See? There is some higher power in this world. But we have this funny notion that the wealth and calm and the earth, that alone can make everything. It is here we are introduced to the third principle called as the path of dharma, wherein we have to accept graciously all that we have today. For that we are squarely responsible and nobody is responsible. Normally all of us have this notion that we blame others for our miseries in life. If I am a wife, the cause of my misery is my husband. Simple. If I am a husband, the cause of my misery is my wife. If I am a father, the cause of my misery is my children. If I am a mother-in-law, the cause of my misery is my daughter-in-law. Then what will be your approach? I as a wife will try to improve the husband. Husband is a species which can never be improved. It cannot be. And then whole life becomes frustration. The mother-in-law wants to improve the daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law wants to improve the mother-in-law. The children want to improve the parents. All the children say, Mom, Dad, you are outdated. You don't understand anything. And they are right. Parents are always outdated. The children are the latest one. See? And thus our life is only focusing attention on others. And when our attention is on others, what we'll do? We'll like to improve the world. Again we get lost in this miserable world. Therefore, whenever we are to be helped by our scriptures, they give us this understanding. Instead of understanding this way, we go to the Mahatmas and ask questions. Maharaji, why God has created such a terrible world? See, some children are born with all miseries. Some are born in poor families. Some are born in rich families. Why? See? Now, the purpose, be very attentive, of the great masters is not to answer your question. In the material science, when the question is asked to the teacher, the question is answered. But on the spiritual path, when the question is asked by a person, the question is not answered. The person is addressed, not the question. You have to change the person, not the question. And the question is given answer in such a manner that, first of all, stop blaming the world for your miseries. But I have not done any bad thing to anybody. You might not have done in this life, but in the last life you must have done. One man, family, I don't know why I have to get such a terrible wife. I am suffering so much. I said, look here, in the last life, you have tortured her. And therefore, in this life, she has come with vengeance. But now what can I do? Yes, that I can tell you. Now behave properly with her. Otherwise, in the next life, again she will come. Because she is doing Karwa Chauth. She will not leave you for 7 lives. Oh God, then what I should do? Now see the net result. Stop blaming others and lead your life in a proper manner. Then we become self-oriented. Don't blame the world. Then the next step comes. When I say I am miserable, we normally go and complain. Why all the miseries come to me? First of all, find out who is miserable. Then you will come to know mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, they are miserable. We as a human being are not miserable. See? Then the question comes, where from this mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife has come? They have come after identification with the gross body. So what is the culprit? Culprit is identifying with the gross body, and thereafter I am born as a man, woman, young, old, husband, wife, and whole tamasha begins. If this point is clear, then what is the spiritual practice to fulfill the purpose of our life? The spiritual practice will be attainment of freedom from body identification. We all get tired of the body identification. And that is the reason we want to go to sleep. Because what is sleep? Sleep is nothing but we are no more identified with our body. See, in the earlier days, when we used to have very ordinary trains, I used to travel that time by train. So when you sit in that train compartment, lot of rush, and everybody is in a fighting mode. Don't touch me. This is my seat. Go there. And after some time, the train is like God. Named Veshosti na Priya. Train moves. And Indian train, if you really want to enjoy, go in an ordinary compartment. Then the containers will open. If you are lucky, you should get a Surati, Gujarati or a Sindhi as your co-passenger. They will open their containers of food and graciously they'll give to everybody. And you eat that. And after eating, slowly the train is moving, there is terrible heat and lullaby, and you go to sleep. And when we go to sleep, my legs are in somebody else's lap, no objection. Earlier, don't touch me, keep away. Somebody else's hand is in my pocket, no objection. See, all the differences disappear. Thereafter, I versus you, this disappears. And therefore, there is an experience of bliss. So, if the purpose of our life is to manifest bliss, what is required is discover this with proper understanding. When we are identified with the body, then alone, my property, my wife, my children, my religion, my country, everything is born thereafter. So, let us practice to live through the body and not live as the body. When we live through the body, body becomes an instrument. But when we are living as the body, body becomes an obsession. The whole life is spent only looking after the body. And what will you do with that old dilapidated body? See, long life is a curse. It is not a good thing. This I discovered in Sikkim, one of the states of India, hilly states. One of my friend, he was pretty old, 70 years old. He told me, Swamiji, if you don't mind, please come to see my mother. I said, okay. He was staying somewhere in the town, in the marketplace, and his mother was staying somewhere away. So we drove, kept the jeep at the base of the hillock, and then we had to climb about 100-150 steps. And in the hillock there was a beautiful cottage where she was staying. So when I was going, I thought, my friend is 70, 80 plus. His mother must be very old, dilapidated, lying in the bed. Then I will go and talk to her. Mama, don't worry, like that. This is what was going in my mind. And when I went to their house, a big beautiful compound, one lady was standing there, perfect. She said, oh, you are the Swami my son sent you. Then I knew this is the mother. She did not even ask me to come inside the house. Started firing questions. How long shall I live? As if I am the one responsible for her life. And she asked me, I have disposed my grandchildren in the graveyard. I am not dying. I smoke, I drink, I eat non-vegetarian. Everything I tried. My teeth are perfect. I don't require glasses. My hearing is perfectly normal. And I am not dying. I said, Mama, what is your age? 108. Now tell me, what will we do with a long life? That day it clicked. Simply longevity of the body cannot be the purpose of life. What for we are here? See friends, if the body is living long or short is the secondary thing. What is important is, are we fulfilling the purpose of our life? And the purpose of our life is determined by the one who created us. And the God created us in His image. Can you imagine God being miserable? Cannot be. So the only purpose of our life is that we become the dispenser of the bliss to the whole society around us. Imagine you come home and your wife receives you with a smile on the face, and she has dressed exactly the dress you like, and then she takes your briefcase, keeps it down, she holds your hand, takes you and puts you on a sofa, and there is a container with warm water. She removes your shoes and she removes your socks, and with a wet warm towel with a fragrance in that, she is slowly wiping your feet. Imagine, man, free hand. What a joy it is it not? Imagination. In the imagination can you make you so happy? If you are received with love, anywhere you go in the world, your life is fulfilled. See? Then whom do we like? We like a person who is ever cheerful and happy. We like a person who has no complaints. See? So the purpose of our life is only one. Let us be an instrument through which the divine is able to express the divine bliss. And this is the fourth Purushartha. And the fourth Purushartha is Moksha Purushartha. What is the meaning of moksha? What is the meaning of liberation? What is the meaning of God realization? What is the meaning of self-realization? All these topics are extremely subtle and important to be known. And that we will do in our tomorrow's class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।